Hey there, this is the first day of my Stormlight Archive reading vlog. I'm reading Oathbringer, which is the third book, and I just wanted to talk about my thoughts so far. I have been listening to the audio and swapping back and forth between that and the Kindle edition. So I want to say on chapter 7, I just finished Kaladin's first chapter and got into his second chapter. I've been enjoying it, but I was kind of like missing Kaladin because he's off doing his own thing in like Hearthstone. I've already cried and like cheered one time, specifically for Kaladin, which I feel like is just the general thing. I'm either crying because he's the saddest guy ever, or I'm cheering for him because like redemption, you know? So the part when he is reunited with his father and mother, I did not expect to cry. I don't know why. It's been so long since I read, I say so long, I read Words of Radiance earlier in the year. I didn't expect to feel the emotions that I did when he was finally reunited with them and like talked about Tien and how he couldn't save him. And oh my gosh, I was just laying there, like I was trying to take a nap. I'd literally just turned on my audiobook so I could fall asleep. Then that happened and I just was sobbing. I was crying so much. And before you say anything, I was trying to take a nap because I got up at 4 a.m. with my freaking child. And I was trying to get a couple more hours of sleep in before it hit, I don't know, 9 o'clock. It's like 7:30 this morning. So anyway, I didn't get to sleep. I ended up just taking a shower and kind of relaxing in the shower. And in the shower is when Kaladin freaking sees Rashon, punches him in the face, and then orders everybody around like the badass he is. And then once Rashon is like, "Who do you think you are?" and he whips out his fucking shard blade and slams it into the floor, and he's like, "Any questions?" And I was like, "Yeah, bitch! Yeah, bitch!" Yeah. Oh, and then Dalinar and God damn it, what's her face got married? Ellikar's mom. Navani. Jesus Christ. I don't know why I couldn't think of her name. Guess because, like, Dalinar hasn't been, like... I mean, he's been a viewpoint character, but, like, this is his book, so we're going to spend more time with her. I don't know. I guess it's just not a character that stood out to me. I like her. I don't know why I'm defending myself for not remembering this name. It has been a while since I read these books. I am at page 270. And I'm on one of Dalinar's chapters. Man, he is such a different person as a youth. Okay, one of the things I want to talk about is the thrill. Are they the Voidbringers? Is the thrill the thing that causes everything to happen? The Alethi, are they actually the bad guys? Because honestly, after the experience that Kaladin had with the Parshmen, who were slaves, and that whole scene, and them just, you know, being kept like that, and the Light Eyes, like, keeping the Dark Eyes down, it seems like the Alethi are really the bad guys, not the Parshendi and the Parshmen. You know what I mean? So I feel like that thrill... Anyway, so Dalinar was just fighting Kalinar? I actually don't remember what his name is, but whatever. He's fighting this battle, and he's killing all these soldiers of the enemy army. And he looks around, and like everybody's dead. Even some of his own men are dead. And he's like sad that he has to stop basically just fucking murdering everybody. And then he has to go fight Kalinar. Is it Kalinar? Kalinor? He has to go fight him because he has to kill him. And then the guy is hanging off the edge of a freaking cliff, asks for mercy, and then Dalinar just stabs him in the head. Man. And then he's jealous that the other man also feels the thrill, which was like a thing. This is why this all kind of came to me. This is a weird angle, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy, the change that overcame Dalinar. And was it Gavilar's death that caused like this huge change? Or is there something else that's going to happen? What happened to the thrill? It just leaves him? I just finished that chapter. Well, I'm almost done with that chapter. I just had to get back in here. He was about to kill his brother. The thrill was about to make him kill his brother. They are the bad guys. Like, granted, maybe I should have already known this. But, like, you don't really think about that. Like, I just figured... I don't know what I figured. I knew that the ruling class was wrong. They won't stop fighting. Gavilar won his throne through bloodshed, literally pillaging villages and murdering everybody. They're the bad guys. Okay, I just reached the end of part 1. Jasnah is back, baby. Thank God. Kaladin's back in Urithiru. Shallan did all that crazy stuff with the giant black evil blob of darkness. I really want her to discuss her disguises with Dalinar. I feel like she's so much more powerful. I feel like she just needs to I know she doesn't care about the recognition, but I feel like she deserves it and that she needs it, and she should just tell people so they can be like, God damn, you are so awesome. Because I did not really like her in the first book. I thought she was kind of annoying, but also I guess we didn't really get that much interaction with her. It was mostly focused on Kaladin, and I liked her more in the second book, and in this book I freaking love her. Hello, good morning. Today's day 3 of my reading vlog of Oathbringer. I read a little bit this morning while I was baking and making coffee, and I cried. We've made it to a point where I'm crying. Rock's family is finally with him. I've really been missing all of the bridge crew, really, because Kaladin's been gone, obviously, so we haven't really got to see a whole lot of them. Oh, okay, so the part that made me cry was the bridge crew carrying their bridge, like, for the last time as they ran back from investigating the caravan fire or whatever that Rock's family was in. Oh my gosh, I was just a big freaking baby, because Bridge 4 is one of those. I love Kaladin's story arc in Way of Kings. It's one of my favorite things that I've ever read. Him choosing to go back and save the bridge crew and the bridgemen, and his determination to change things, and even though he's lost so many people, to choose to save somebody again and not jump off the cliff is one of my favorite things. He is the moment that they choose to go back and save Dalinar when Sadeas abandons them. It's one of those moments that you know they're going to meet. You knew that because Kaladin's bridge crew was with Sadeas, and you knew Sadeas and Dalinar were running together, that eventually they would meet up. I did not know that Sadeas was going to betray him, and the moment he did and Kaladin was there, I was like, this is my boy's moment. He is going to meet Dalinar. He's going to save him. The whole bridge crew. It was everything I wanted. And then when they chose to save him and not save themselves and escape was another moment of character growth. So all of this to say, I freaking love the bridge crew. I love Kaladin and the bridge crew together, and to have them carrying their bridge for the last time was really emotional for me. Hi, it's day 4. Jasnah just destroyed Amaram in a verbal battle of wits, and I'm here for it. I love her so much. I'm so glad she's back. Okay, so the things that have been going on. More Dalinar. Oh, Teft being an addict. I don't remember that. I knew he had like a dark past from the previous 2 books, but I don't remember reading that, so maybe I didn't, but maybe I did. I'm crazy. I don't know. I forget little things like that in big giant books like this because they're big giant books. We've been following him around and seeing like his issues, and then there was also a flashback with Dalinar using that moss stuff as well to compensate for his lack of the thrill. And then also him running into his family. It is crazy, the changes that went over him. Seeing him as a youth, it's amazing that he is the same person. And also it makes sense why nobody wants to join them with knowing who he was when he was younger and seeing all the things that he did. And I totally get it. It would be tough to unify somebody under somebody that they know as being so violent and cruel. Moash. Okay, I know some shit's going on with Moash because I've been on the internet in my lifetime. I feel for him. I think he's such a great character. I understand his motives. I mean, who doesn't understand his motives for wanting to kill Elhokar? It makes sense, and I feel horrible for him when he's traveling through the Shattered Plains and he's looking at the Bridge 4 logo, how he basically ruins everything good that ever happens to him. And then with him being with the Parshendi, realizing that no matter where he is, this fucking class system is still what's keeping him down, bringing him down. Like, and then the Parshendi being better slave owners than the Alethi, treating them more like humans because they've been in that position. It is so hard to look at them as the bad guys, because what they're doing is so much more humane than the way the Alethi and Dalinar and Gavilar tried to unite and take over. Like, they're doing it in a way that's so much more civilized, aside from taking all the humans as slaves. But once again, I understand why they're doing it, because they were kept as slaves for so long. But Moash joining the Parshendi crew that's pulling the wagons that's being whipped and abused, knowing that those are the same ones that Kaladin helped and then, I guess, abandoned. I just don't know why I didn't think about them being punished for bringing him there and then him escaping. And so I feel horrible for them that they trusted Kaladin, and it's not like Kaladin wasn't doing it to be a jerk either. Like, he was literally trying to help them. He felt for them. And so when Cal figures out what happens to them and Moash realizes it's Cal, like, you can just see the things, the way it's woven together, and it's so I love this book because it makes you question things. Like, you have to look at things in different perspectives. It's not just like, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. Like, both sides have done, well, I mean, yeah, they've both done bad things, but honestly, the more they talk about Dalinar and Gavilar and how they just destroyed all these people to bring them together, it doesn't feel like the Voidbringers are the real bad guys. I don't know. Hello, today is 5/6. I'm not sure. I think maybe 5. I read Edge Dancer yesterday because for some reason I just didn't want to read it previously. I thought Lift was cute in Words of Radiance, but I wasn't like compelled. May I focus? I wasn't compelled to pick it out. But the more she popped up in Oathbringer, the more I was like, shit, let me go back and read this.
What's the best kind of firework to buy?
Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?
So I ended up reading that like all day yesterday. It was like a 6-hour audiobook, I think. And I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. It wasn't like anything groundbreaking, but I do enjoy the perspective of what's going on with Lift, and like seeing her interactions with the assassin in white, and then also seeing what the Herald is up to and seeing him kind of like question himself and his sanity and what he can feel and all that stuff. I thought was interesting. And yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing. I've also been working on crocheting a blanket. This is my 3rd go at it. I just can't be satisfied with it. It actually started out as a poncho for my husband. Didn't have enough yarn to make it into a poncho, so I turned it back into yarn balls. Started yesterday again from the center. It started to look real wonky at the corners, so I pulled it all apart again, and now here we are going end to end, just sort of striping it haphazardly. I just wanted to kind of, I don't know. So I've been listening today instead of physically reading, which is why I've kind of just been going back and forth between the two, but it's one of those things where I like doing both. I don't hate the audio. I don't think it's a bad audio. A lot of people I know really enjoy the audio of Michael Kramer and Kate Redding. Michael Kramer reads so slowly. Like 1.25 sounds like a normal speed, and 1.5 is like pretty good. But Kate Redding reads a little faster, so I usually just read at 1.25 speed, which is like a happy medium between the two of them.
We will make a pyre of this city, and there shall be no weeping for its passing, for none will remain to weep. 76. An animal.
Is Evie about to go in there and die? Is that what's going to happen? Is she going to go into that city? Dalinar's going to light it up, and she's going to die in there, and then he eventually goes to the Night Watcher to remove that memory from him? Dalinar is such a different person in this book. Like, it's fucking nuts to listen to him talk like that, and then to have read the other 2 books. I think it was so smart to write Dalinar's story in this book as opposed to in the other two, because in the other two you're like, all these other people, why aren't they listening to him? Like, he's obviously a good person, like he's so honorable and all these things. Why is it so hard for him to unite the kingdoms? And now it comes out, now we know his story, his background, to know why everybody doesn't trust him and why they feel like it's, you know, not in their best interest to unite with Dalinar. So good. Okay, well, I am done reading for the day. I got to Dalinar's wife's death. That was rough. It's hard to read it because you can see both sides of it. Like, obviously, it is upsetting that that happened to Dalinar, but also when the guy I don't know what his name is, I can't remember. The guy that begins with the T. Kalinor's son. When he sees his city burn and watches his family die, and then knows he's about to die, but then also realizes that Dalinar, in the process of murdering all these people, unintentionally murdered his wife. It's just a really well-crafted scene, you know what I mean? Like, it just makes you consider all sides of it. And seeing this side of Dalinar is just crazy, man. After getting to know him through these last two books, it's crazy to see him like this. Like, I feel like I knew him so well. I was always referring to him as like the Ned Stark character because he's so honorable and always trying to do the right thing even though it's hard. And it's just so weird to see him like this. And then him and Sadeas's relationship and friendship, which obviously you don't really get because they're not friends in the first two books. So yeah. Shallan, and I don't even want to talk about the Shallan and Kaladin dynamic right now. Let's just pretend it's not happening. Sorry, Vale. What is happening with her? She is gonna fuck up. Things are gonna go really south for her. Obviously, there's just no way it doesn't. She cannot stop forgetting who she is.
From him. Syl spun around him, begging for him to listen, but he couldn't hear her. The king, he thought, numb. Get to Elhokar. Elhokar had fallen to his knees. In one arm he held his terrified son, in the other hand he held a sheet of paper? A sketch? Kaladin could almost hear Elhokar stuttering the words. Life before death. The hair on Kaladin's neck rose. Elhokar started to glow softly. Strength before weakness. Do it, Elhokar, Kaladin whispered. Journey before. A figure emerged from the battle. A tall, lean man, so familiar. Gloom seemed to cling to Moash, who wore a brown uniform like the Parshman. For a heartbeat, the battle pivoted on him. Wall guard behind him. Broken palace guard before. Moash. No, Kaladin whispered. He couldn't move. Stormlight bled from him, leaving him empty, exhausted. Lowering his spear, Moash ran Elhokar through the chest. Kaladin screamed. Moash pinned the king to the ground, shoving aside the weeping child prince with his foot. He placed his boot against Elhokar's throat, holding him down, then pulled the spear out and stabbed Elhokar through the eye as well.
Okay, so Moash killing Elhokar. What a scene. Like, first of all, both of those characters have been growing and changing. And Elhokar being killed by Moash, I get it. So many things make this scene good. As much as it hurt, because I was rooting for Elhokar.
I was rooting for you! We were all rooting for you! How dare you!
Obviously he's a whiny little bitch in the first couple books, and you're just like, damn it, man, pull your shit together. Like, you need to get it together, you're the king. And then he is, you know, like this book, he's really trying to change, like, and that's commendable, obviously. Like, he realizes he's a shit king, and you see the way he speaks with Dalinar, and like, he knows that he needs to change in order to save Alethkar, and it is a noble thing that he does, to go to Kholinar and try to save them, and he's making better choices, he's doing things better. And then we have Moash, who I also feel for. Like, the fact that his parents, it's his parents, right, that get left in the dungeon to essentially just die by Elhokar. Understandable that he would want to kill Elhokar. Like, I understood his motivations, and I understood why he couldn't stop what he was doing, because it meant so much to him. And so I've always had a thing for Moash. I've never felt like, I've always liked him, and I always thought he was a tragic character. So having him kill Elhokar, fulfilling this thing that's been driving him, and then seeing him with the Parshendi and trying to help them, and just, it's hard to not like him to me. But at the same time, I wanted the best for Elhokar. So his story and arc ending there, the moment he was becoming a Radiant, something that I felt, oh my gosh, that was such a good scene. I had like real tears. Like I went downstairs and I was trying to tell my husband, and his face was just like, you know, he explaining the nuances of why it was such a good scene and why it was so emotional for me. He don't understand. Like, how could you? I'm on the 3rd book in this massive series that's so good because of the intricacies of it, and it's just like, to explain it, I'd have to talk for an hour before he could even understand. Either way, regardless. Hello, good morning. I am getting pretty close to finishing this book. I hit 900 pages last night. Dalinar has gone to Vadinar at this point, realized that when the thrill left him, it went there, but now it's like back in him, and he's drinking again like he was after Evie died. And oh my gosh, his character right now is so, I just feel for him so much. He's made me cry. He's made me feel like, it's hard to explain how I feel about him. It's so weird to see him like this, because he's so strong in his beliefs for so long, and then seeing the thrill return to him and seeing him deal with these memories that are coming back, and knowing that he is the cause of his wife's death, and then seeing how he was treating Adolin and Renarin, and how he's just getting drunk and everyone's like talking about his addiction, and dealing with him like a child essentially, and just being angry that people are treating him like that. It's just so real, you know what I mean? I think this is such great character work. I both feel bad for Renarin and Adolin, and that their father is treating them like that. When Renarin came to him and hugged him and brought him that wine, and Dalinar just breaks down and starts hugging the invalid as he's referring to Renarin, oh my gosh, like, talk about heartbreaking. It's so well done. Anyone who thinks that Brandon Sanderson's writing is simple and that he can't convey these feelings is just an idiot. I was reading some comments in a YouTube video comparing him and Patrick Rothfuss, and I was just like, fuck off, guys. Like, just because his writing isn't just like flowery and maybe not quite as beautiful as other authors doesn't mean his writing isn't good and that he isn't a great writer, because he's fantastic. Gosh, there's just so many things. I know I'm gonna cry at the end of this book. This thrill situation I knew was a thing. Is it odium? I'm really struggling to keep track of some things. I need to go back and reread this almost immediately, because, okay, so it's like the Heralds, the Unmade, the Voidbringers. There's just so many pieces of things. The Skybreakers, the Ghost Bloods. It's just so many groups of people that are working, Taravangian, that have so many different motivations, and it's hard to keep track of, like, is it all the same thing maybe? Is it all odium? Is the chaos that is dividing everybody part of the Voidbringers and the Desolation? I don't know. I just don't know. Hi, I just finished recording, but I wanted to pop back in here and say that I got to a part in Stormlight last night where they ended up in Shadesmar, and one of the characters, Rayino, I don't remember how to say it, but he says Merciful Domai, like the characters in Elantris do. So I just thought that was an interesting Easter egg that I picked up on. Okay, so the Spannerings are just blown up. The Dawn Chant has been translated, and lo and behold, the Alethi are the Voidbringers. And I fucking knew it. And that's an exciting, satisfying moment in a book. And yeah, pretty excited. We're getting to the end of this thing, and lots of stuff is happening. Shallan is tripping. She don't know who's who. Vale is coming through. Cal's like, do I like her? Do I not like her? We're learning about Tara right now. Shit is going down in Thaylen City, where everyone's like, Dalinar, man, you are not telling us things. What's up? What's going on? What's the truth? And oh man, I'm gonna finish the thing today. I'm telling you, I've made one blanket in the 50 hours that I've been listening to this book. I just started another one. Okay, just checking in. Dalinar is going to the Night Watcher. This is like in the past. And there's wild chickens there, and Mraize has a chicken. Coincidence? I don't know. Throwing it out there. Perhaps.
Well, it's over, you guys. I'm not going to analyze every single thing that happened at the end of this book because so much was happening at the end of this book. Shallan, I thought, was going to have more of a consequence for some of the things that were happening with her, as far as her hiding her true self and covering it up with like radiance and veil. I thought there was going to be more consequence for that, and maybe there will be in Rhythm of War, because Adolin really didn't deal with his murder of Sadeas and stuff too. Granted, he's not sorry for it, and we haven't seen Dalinar deal with it yet. So, I mean, obviously there's some things that aren't going to be tied up because there's 2 more books. But I did think that there was going to be a little bit more in that storyline, or more of a consequence for Shallan after all of these things that have happened, and she hasn't really dealt with the murder of her parents and the deaths that she caused in Kholinar when she was pretending to be Vale and not looking at the big picture. So I did expect a little bit more from that, but I'm not faulting the book for that. It's just something that I thought was going to happen, but regardless, I'm sure that will be cleared up in the next book. Dalinar's storyline, his culminating moment when you find out that Odium is planning on using him as his champion, and, you know, enticing him with the thrill, and saying he could lay the blame on him for the death of Evie because he pushed him to do it, but then Dalinar being like, no, you might have been there, but I'm the one who did it. I made that choice, and I accept the blame. You don't get that blame. It's my burden to bear, and I wouldn't be who I am if I hadn't done those things in my past. It's part of the journey. And what a great line. I was so proud of him. Like, that had to have been so hard to just accept that he is to blame. Like, there's nobody else. He was there. He was the one doing it, and him accepting that burden, closing that arc, making it so he can now not only remember his wife but learn from his past mistakes. Kaladin finally getting to fight Amaram, who hasn't been waiting for that moment since book 1. Amaram is such a fucking shitbag. He never gets what's coming to him. The moment he finally does, and then he's turned and got all this carapace and like gems and shit all over him, and man, when he didn't have a heart, I was like, of course you don't have a heart. You're heartless. You're a horrible human. You hurt my boy. My sad boy Cal. You broke his little heart. You made him broken. Oh, when they were talking about how the Knights Radiant have to be broken for the Spren to get in, I've been thinking about that for a while now, because all of the characters that the Spren come to and that become Radiants have these horrible pasts. And I think they mentioned that, actually. I'm sure I didn't. I think I read that in one of maybe the interludes or something, where they mentioned the Radiants being broken, and I got like a hint of that, but I don't remember who was talking. So many things. I seriously will just skim. I don't skim them, but the interludes, while I understand are important, I'm always like, let's get back to the story. I'm always ready to go back out of the interludes. So sometimes I don't pay as close of attention as I probably should, which is why I need to reread these books, because a lot of key information is given in the interludes that I have obviously not been paying attention to. Renarin and Yasna's scene, I kind of thought Renarin was something different, because in the beginning, when Kaladin is with the Parshmen and there's the Void Spren there, but Kaladin can't see it, but Syl mentions it to him, and then when we found out that Renarin was a Radiant but they couldn't see his Spren, I was like, seems a little fishy. Seems a little void spready. I don't know. And then obviously Yasna's choice not to kill Renarin because she loves him, and she talks about hugging him and giving him the love that he needed when his mom was dead and his dad was, you know, drinking the pain away. There's another crying moment. A lot of crying moments. I've been trying to track it, but you know, there's a lot of them. Shallan and Adolin getting married. I mean, I'm glad she's not going to end up with Kaladin. Thank God. I was really nervous that that was going to go down that path. Anytime they alluded to those two, I was like, God damn it, no. Turn. Reverse.
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Please don't do this to us, Brandon. And luckily he did not. I was getting real nervous when Vale was making all these remarks about his, you know, passionate eyes and like his brooding face and all this shit. So Odium came to Taravangian in the end. And Odium was the one in charge of basically everything that was happening throughout the world that was bad. Controlling the Alethi, well, not controlling specifically, I guess, but incentivizing them, I guess, using the thrill, sparking their hatred and their bloodthirst. I definitely am going to go back and go over who each of these groups of people are, because so the Skybreakers are a type of Radiant, but most of them, except for Szeth, are with Odium. And then the Ghostbloods, I'm still unsure about, because wasn't Amaram a Ghostblood? And he is a bad guy. But they also seem to have some similar motives. I don't freaking know, man. I have to go back and reread. There's so much information to take in from these, and if you don't read these back to back, it is so easy to forget. So that's gonna be it, I think. That was Oathbringer. I can't wait for the next book. I'm so excited to start it. I think I'm gonna reread all of these maybe, you know, in September or October, just so I have a better like working knowledge of the series going into reading Rhythm of War, because right now I think I just feel like I need a firmer grasp on things. It's hard to take this all in one read, for real. But either way, excellent book. 5 freaking stars. Take them all. You can keep them. You deserve them. Every second of this book was just masterfully done. I loved it so much. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and there will be more to come.